Welcome to NWA Cane Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Welcome back. Hey man, I'm moving up in this world, ain't I, y'all? What's up, chat? What's up?
What's
Salute,
up,
Doug.
man? How you doing? Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, Oscar Mora is in the house. If you don't know what he is, who he is, you've been sleeping under a rock. But if you've been under that rock, Oscar Mora, can we get an introduction from you, sir, about yourself?
Hey, man, my name is Oscar. I've, dog trainer, business owner. Been a Cane Corso enthusiast for a long time. So yeah, man.
What's up? Where you from, Oscar?
I'm from LA, man. I was born in a city of Inglewood, and
Woo!
grew up in that.
Uh-oh, we lost Oscar. Your internet.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. There we go. Yeah. So you from Inglewood? Now you from the hood, brother?
Yeah, man. I was born in Inglewood, and then I grew up in the city of Carson, which is a couple cities down from Inglewood.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
Yep.
this is real deal Holyfield. Yes, sir. Okay. Hey man, one of the first the first way I saw you, man, and a lot of people that watch my channel is know that you the Cane Corso. I think I saw you did the interview with Roy Rojas, right?
Yeah. I did that. I was up in Mexico, like in, I don't know, like 20, I forgot what it was. Maybe like, I don't know, 2017, 2018. I don't even remember, but I was down there, and I met Roy back in, I don't know, like 2008, 2009. And so, when he was still in Texas, and, so we always talked, and then, I went out to Mexico, and I wanted to interview him and see his kennel. So yeah, that's how that went about.
Oh yeah, man. He got some impressive dogs. I know some people who have some of his dogs. He's the real deal. So you what was the name of the dog you had that you did a lot of training with? Do you still have that dog, the Corso?
You're talking about my most recent one, because the first one I had, that I titled, that I competed with, that was AC Slater. That was a dog that I bred. Basically, what happened was, it was hard to get a dog that you could work in what I wanted to do, which was more like sport work. Which, now looking back, it's just a little. It's not the breed. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what I was trying to do was something way different. Can they do it? Yeah, if you find the right ones, you could definitely do it. But they're not bred for that. So
Right.
it was tough. So I felt like I had to, breed myself in order so I can get that pick puppy that I wanted, that I could pick out. You know what I'm saying? So me and two friends went in on a female from a kennel that is no longer breeding. I believe a Mori Cane Corso. David Kuhneman, and David bought dogs from Carlos Colon. So if for the people listening that are Cane Corso enthusiasts, if you guys just go online and look up Rivali Cane Corso on YouTube, you know that Carlos was one of the main guys that was working dogs, especially back then. Like, everybody knew who Carlos was in the Cane Corso community, because he was the main guy working them. Him, and then Ty came along and he was working them. So anyways, David had bought dogs from him and was using those lines. So we bought a female from David, and then we bred her to a dog named Navarro that was a local dog that was very prey driven dog. So I thought, I'm gonna get this female and I'm gonna get this male, and they both have crazy prey drive. I'm gonna get the dog that I wanted, and that's how I got AC Slater, which was my first competition Cane Corso. This was back in, I don't know, like 2013 or something like that.
Right. Boy, you've been in it a minute. What do you think about the state of the Corso today?
You know what? I feel like, there's now, with social media and everything, is super popular, and it's just, I mean, it's just the way that. But as much as I want to say, like, they're in the very bad state right now, I feel like it was like that back then too. You know what I'm saying? We just didn't see it as much because we didn't have social media the way we have it today. You know what I'm saying? But you get the same issues that you have today. You had them back then. I think that one of the bigger issues is that people spend money on these dogs, and even if they get something that is not going to produce, they feel like they're already invested. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I saw it. You know, even when I was younger, especially because I was kind of broke. So you know, when you spend $3,500 on a dog back then, even if she doesn't have the best temperament, you're like, well, I'm gonna find this other male so that I can make it work, and you know, so it could be basically make up for the shortcomings of this dog. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's just and now looking back at it, it was just the wrong way to go about it. You know,
Right.
that because that in my opinion that's not going to work. You want to get something that's solid, that's going to be producing well. The female's the main one, so I would say, you know, I would have focused more on that. But nowadays I see the same issue.
Same issue. Yeah.
Can you hear me? I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like people are too invested already and they breed dogs that shouldn't be bred. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
you know, unfortunately, I'm a dog trainer. I own a dog training business down here. So a lot of the Corsos that we do see all have issues because that's why they send them into training. Because the ones that don't have issues are very easy to deal with. Like the
Right.
ones that are very calm temperament, you know, not very protective, I would say, or you know, don't really act out as much, not a lot of prey drive. They're super easy to handle, but we get the ones that are either nervy,
Mhm.
you know, or you know, just bad temperament all around. So you know that's why we see that's what I see the most. So and it sucks, but you know, it's part of the breed. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
good.
I'm fighting really hard to like get the breeders of old to come to the show and kind of educate people. What is a court? A lot of people don't know that
Right.
how it's a fad dog to some people, and they just want to start breeding. They don't know what they're doing. So I'm fighting as hard as it is. I am trying to get them to the show to come
Yeah,
tell
man.
people.
I mean, there's some people with some good knowledge out there.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, you got Tony Scandy, you
Yep.
got Roy Rojas. You know, a lot of them, and and the thing is, man, like everybody has their own taste, you know, and their own beliefs of what the dog should be. I
Yeah.
know for my dog, you know, my latest dog that I recently lost about a year ago, Benny. Um, that dog for me was like overall temperament and everything and look was what I liked in the course. So he was very athletic, you know, very stable temperament. You know, and he had a little protective instinct to him. He wasn't over the top, but that's okay because that's what I feel the breed is. It's not a Malinois. It's
Right.
a Cane Corso. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. Oh, and I forgot to say, my co-host, he got sick today. That's Lamont Morgan of La Potenza, Cane Corso in Texas. He said he wanted
He's
to say
been
hi.
he's been breeding for a while too, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's my cousin. Yeah, he been breeding a long time. Yeah,
Long time. Yeah, I
his name-
remember that name.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he said hi to you, and he's sorry he couldn't make it, y'all.
Was
Yeah,
was he doing was he doing like working dogs too back then or
that's what
no?
he do. Work. Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember. I
Oh
remember.
yeah, he been
Yeah.
around. Ron Ackerman,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Roy,
yeah, yeah. I
Roy.
remember.
Yeah. He know. Yeah, he the real
Yeah,
deal.
tell him I said what's up. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I bet he watching, so he'll see it. So let me go ahead and get into this part of it, man. What made you get interested into dog training?
Man, honestly, man, I was panicking when I put my deposit in for the Cane Corso, and then I was like, you know, I was on Google and stuff, and I see these you know, articles come out of these dogs, and I'm like, oh shit, what I get into? Because, you know, you got to think about it. I never really had dogs growing up because we lived in a kind of like the project, so you know, we didn't have a yard, and my parents are, you know, Mexican, like first generation, like immigrants. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So they don't see dogs how most people see dogs, you know. So I was panicking a little bit when I put my deposit in for my first Corso, and I was like, "Damn, I need to get into training." And what ended up happening was I found a place that was training like police dogs and stuff,
Mhm.
and I was like, I'm gonna just go and see if I can hang out for a little bit because at the time all I had available to me was like Caesar Milan show, you know. So I
Right.
was like, I'm gonna go see if I can learn about dogs before I get this dog because I was panicking a little bit, and that's really what happened, man. I got there and I put on a sleeve and it was game over after that, you know.
That's what's up.
That's where it started for me. A passion was born there, and you know, I've been going ever since.
Yeah. You said Caesar Milan, man. That was a bomb ass interview you did with him, man. That was a good interview.
That's cool, man.
Because
Thanks.
it's kind of like one thing he was talking about is culture,
Right.
and culture is we all bleed red, but culture is the way people do things. And what he was saying about how dogs run free and things. Yeah, but we'll get into your podcast here in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah,
Yeah. So what is your personal dog training philosophy? I know you had the academy,
right.
uh, uh,
I got
but
elevated canine. Yep.
you got elevated canine. What's the day-to-day operations? How do you got staff?
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'm blessed. You know, now I have like 13 trainers under me,
Mhm.
and you know,
Damn.
is
Okay.
they kind of run like their own operation. Really, I mean, I just oversee it, and I try to facilitate things for them. Uh, but basically, we service all of LA, and we're just up and down. You know, we have celebrity clients now and all that, so we got to go tend to them. And basically, you know, I have trainers in different. LA is huge, so I have trainers, in different areas that could service different areas. And yeah, man, we just help people with whatever issues they're having with their dogs. As far as me, I have a couple clients here and there, but for the most part, I just oversee the operation now.
That's what's up. Yeah.
I don't, but it wasn't like that before. I was having 20 dogs at my house at one point
Wow.
with just me and another employee just trying to grind it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was tough, but
Yeah.
thank God that we're in this position now where we could give work to other people as well.
So what all of y'all doing there? Is it obedience all the way up to protection or
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
Okay. All
basic to advanced obedience, and then
right.
we have a protection program as well.
Right.
Yep.
Now, when people, what happens when people want protection? I cover a lot of trainers in protection. Uh, how important is it for people to get the right dog, or
I
is it
mean,
every dog you turn away?
it's the most important, man. I mean, not just the dog, but the right owner. A lot of people think they want something, and then when they have it, it's a little too much for them. You know what I'm saying? And they can't deal with it. So
Mhm.
as the trainer, you have to be able to assess the situation and their family dynamic and how you're going to be able to fit a dog into this. That's all. It's going to work out for everybody. A lot of people just like how it looks, you know what I'm saying? But they don't like the operation, like the actually handling the dog and learning about the dog and following through with living with a living animal like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So and I'm sorry, bro. I'm getting a bunch of calls here, so that's why it keeps
You
going for.
good?
But
You good?
yeah, I think that the most important is finding the dog with the right temperament for people. And for me, the Cane Corso with good temperament is probably one of the best dogs for the job because they play that part of like they look intimidating. They will freaking bark at the fence in front. Hey, like if somebody, I always tell people if somebody goes in after they see a freaking Cane Corso in the front barking at them, you got bigger issues. You know what I'm saying? That means they come with big threats. I mean, they're probably gonna pass that house
Right.
for the most part.
Right, right. Yeah. A lot of people need to understand about those dogs. They kind of see it online. Woo, but you got to live with it too. It's a
Yeah,
responsibility.
exactly, bro.
Yeah. Man, so I have a lot of trainers. One thing about it I figured out real quick since I got an all breed podcast and we talk all things dog. Boy, you trainers got some kind of like a little beefs and things about training style, man. It's
Yeah,
real like I'm heated, man.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
what is your thoughts on that?
you know what, man? I think that well, obviously we're human, so our feelings get involved sometimes,
Mhm.
and but I'm now I should stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? I try
Yeah,
to stay out of it. When but it's unfortunate, but that's just how it is. I try to help people as much as I can, but sometimes you know there's always going to be some sort of competition. You're going to be competition to other people without you. There's people that don't like me and I don't even understand. I don't even know. I
yeah.
never even met these people. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's just how it goes. But at the end of the day, man, I feel like for me, like I'm not a like this dog training stuff is not my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I
Exactly.
got my wife, I got my kids,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, that like this is just, this is how I feed my
yeah.
family, but it's not, it doesn't consume me anymore. Like
That's right.
it used to consume me. And, especially when, that 5 mark, 7 mark year where you think you really know everything. And, you start, wondering why somebody has more than what you have, even though they're not as good, in your eyes, all this bullshit, this immature thinking that,
Mhm.
I mean, I did go through that. I went through those phases, And
Hmm.
now I'm very secure, and I'm not the best. And I know there's trainers out there that are way better than me, but I'm very secure in what I know and what I can do with dogs. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I don't feel threatened anymore. I what I have right now belongs to me. That's what God put for me. And whatever plan he has for me, I'm going to get there eventually, just at the right time. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I try to remind myself of that type of stuff all the time, because sometimes when you feel like you're not where, like, you always feel like, oh, I need to get here, I need to get here, I need to get here. That's
Hmm.
when those feelings come in, where you start looking at other people and comparing yourself to other people and hating on other people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try to not get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a bad state of mind. I know I podcast, but this is, and dogs are so minute in my real life. Like, I got family that take a lot of my time.
Yep.
And I'm gonna look at this camera and say right now, I don't know why some of you dudes are infatuated with me. I wonder what your wives think about you, worried about this handsome black man right here. These
It's the
dudes are
bald head,
nuts.
bro. It's the
Yeah,
bald
yeah, yeah.
head.
There we go. Got salt and pepper here today. So, yeah. So yeah, man. But yeah, that's kind of like some of the things about being online. You kind of getting people get jealous for no reason. You're not even thinking about stuff they're thinking about,
Yeah.
or trying to do things. Like you say, it's trainers that might be better than you. It's guys that can speak more eloquently,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
bro.
can beat me doing this podcast. But
Hey,
what's for
man.
you is for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything, like I said, everything is gonna be on our time, man. Like, everything
That's
has
right.
already. I feel like it's already been laid out. It's just putting in the work and getting to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
That
Right.
that's how I feel about it.
Right. Um, let me ask you about your favorite training styles. I guess what I'm asking is, uh, I see a lot of emphasis on prey, and then sometimes I see a lot of
Yeah,
emphasis
yeah,
on
yeah.
defense. Where do you want to be in that picture?
I mean, I think it depends on what the job at hand is gonna be. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And what you're gonna do. I feel like, you know, if you're talking about if we're talking about breeds, or we're talking about sports, different sports, or we're talking about personal protection versus sport work. I mean,
Right.
all that is all different. You know what I'm saying? If I have a Corso, since this is a Cane Corso podcast, you know, if when I look at the dog, I see the overall dog. I see well, what are the qualities of the dog, what are what does he lack, and what I have to build on, and then what's the goal for the dog. If the goal for the dog is to be a personal protection dog, or to guard a home, then I'm not gonna be doing a lot of the stuff that I would normally be doing with, like, a sport dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna
Mhm.
make it just all fun and games with the sleeve at the house where he's gonna protect. I don't do that stuff, because there he's not gonna be seeing those pictures. I don't want to turn it into a game for him when it comes to the in-home scenarios and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, if I'm working on, like, bite mechanics, and how he bites and this and that, bringing that's cool at the field, because dogs are very smart. They know when they're at a training facility and when they're at home. Dogs act completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, genetics change. Yeah, I mean they see the gait. They see it's completely different. People think that, oh, you're just teaching the dog to hold you give him the sleeve and he takes it out at the field. It's gonna it's gonna be the same way into the real home. Well, I'll never use a sleeve in a real home scenario. You know what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
either gonna be muzzle. It'll be newspaper wrapped up. Like, we don't know what we're gonna use, but I'm definitely not gonna use a Schutzen sleeve where I'm gonna make it a game for the dog. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at what the goal is for the dog. What are the plus sides of that dog that you're going to be working, and what are the things that he lacks, and you got to build on that, and you got to capitalize on the good things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
I think that as far as what I like, I think that it depends what I want the dog for. Now, when I think about a Cane Corso, I don't think about it like I did in the beginning. When I first got into the sport, I was like, I'm gonna get the first Schutzen 3, Mondio Ring 3, French Ring 3, Cane Corso, and then you get into it, you're like, bro, like, they're not made for that. Like, they're not built for that. You're trying to, fit a square peg into a round hole. Like, it
Right.
doesn't work that way. That's not what they were bred for. Can some of them do some of that? 1,000% they can. but they're not gonna excel like the breeds that were bred for that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And
right.
but then those other breeds don't have certain qualities that the Cane Corso could have. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
apples and oranges.
So what's your personal favorite? You like doing sports? You like doing
I love doing sport work, man. More so because it challenges me as a trainer. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It challenges me as a trainer, so that's why I like doing sport work. But overall, I just enjoy training dogs. All the personal protection stuff is cool. I love that too. You just, especially in LA, like I don't really show a lot of that stuff because there's a fine line right there. I've been in certain circumstances where I could have gone to court really easily,
Yeah.
and I could have paid a lot of money, and it made me think like, oh damn, like this is a lot bigger than what we think. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be, if you trained a dog for protection and that dog bites somebody, even if you have super solid contracts, they can come back after the company and take whatever they can from the owner, from the homeowner's insurance, from the company. They can do all that stuff. And sometimes we don't think about that. So I think about all that now. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
I got a lot to lose and I don't want to lose it.
I know that's right. Is there anybody you are a type of person for is like I'm knocking on the ego a little bit that you say, no, I ain't training your dog.
Yeah,
You know?
man. I've done a lot of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done a lot of that. I learned very early that not all money is good money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's crazy, but like you almost feel it when it's gonna go. Like it's not gonna go the way that you know that you hope for it to go, and you still bring the client on, and then you have issues down the line. Because
Right.
some people, they see these videos online and they think that they're gonna get robot dogs, and dogs aren't robots.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, in the home, and you training basic obedience or advanced obedience. What is your personal philosophy on treats versus touch as the reward?
Versus touch.
Yeah.
I think that either one can be used for different things. I think that if like especially for if you wanted to get more like finessed work, I think you could use a lot of food and that type of stuff, right? But if you just want to teach a dog to be a good dog, and I mean, bro, all you really need is a leash, and stop the dog from doing, like, especially like I have a golden doodle in my house, and that dog, I hardly use any food. It was all, hey, you could do this, you cannot do this. And my corrections were literally just having the dog on leash, maybe giving him a little pop on the flat collar, and for him that was good, that worked for him. I'm
Hmm.
not saying it's gonna work for every dog, but for him it worked. I like to be very black and white on what I like and what I don't like right off the bat. I try to keep a structure and keep a pattern so the dog really understands it real quick. Now, when it comes to food, food is a great tool to use to your advantage. Not only that, but your food could also reinforce your touch. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
you could touch your dog and then give him some food if he really wants food, and your touch, the value of the touch is gonna also go up because you've paired it with the food. You know what I'm saying? In the
Gotcha.
dog's brain. So there's many ways that you could use food in your training. I love using food in my training, but again, it depends on the dog, on the person. I've had clients that are you know, 25-year-olds, they love dog training. I'm going to use a lot of food and teach them how to do these things. Then I'm going to have a 73-year-old lady who cannot deliver the food the same way that a 25-year-old could do it. So I have to deal with her a certain way. I got to communicate with her a certain way so she communicates with her dog a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
there's a lot of things, a lot of variables that come in when we're talking about dog training. It's not just, one size fits all.
Right. I had this trainer. I went down. I did a kind of mini doc on this guy down there about 3 hours away, and he said, "Man, I was looking at you from once you get out the car with your dog. Like, what the hell you looking at me for? You know?" He's like, he's like, "Man, I study people once they get out the vehicle." He said, I wanted to know who was in charge. He said, once you got in that car, and what I saw, whatever I saw you do with that dog, I would have known. I know who was in charge.
Right.
And I took the dog straight into the kennel, but he says I see people pulling them, the dogs pulling them, or the dogs leading them, just leading them.
Yep.
What how much do you pay attention to the client, the human client?
It's everything, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the way they communicate with their dog, you're gonna like if like I'll have clients that, you know, I'll give you a quick like if they're saying no, 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 and the dog doesn't even like the no does not mean anything to this dog. You know
right,
that, this dog, this client. I mean, this dog does not see the owner as a leader in that relationship, or that it even means anything. They haven't conditioned it to mean anything to the dog. You know, so I do see that a lot. Like I try to pay attention to how they communicate. I had this client. One of my trainers did a board and train with a client, took the dog back. I saw the dog and the dog looked great with the trainer. And then I went back and with the trainer, a leash pop or his corrections were good. They would work on the dog. But then when they went back to the owner, she I saw the message come through about how she wasn't very happy. So that's when I step in and I go, okay, well, I got to make this right. So I went over there, I saw the dog, and I when I got the dog and I started working the dog was doing everything right. But I'm a trainer, so right away I said, uh, "Let me do this." I forgot what I told her, but she corrected the dog. But she corrected the dog a little differently. She used like spatial pressure. She moved forward, and the dog took it as a correction. So for me, I said, "Get rid of the leash. We're just gonna use spatial pressure when you're gonna correct the dog." And that worked. That worked for that dog. You know what I'm saying? Because of
right.
how she communicated with the dog.
Hmm.
And so what I mean by that is you have to see what correction is going to work for that owner, for that dog.
Hmm.
Not every size fits all. We try to, as trainers, sometimes we think that, just because we say it a certain way, that the owner's going to be able to replicate it. Nah, it doesn't work like that. You're going to have to teach them. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. One of the things you talk about a lot on your podcast and trainers in general is bonding with the dog. What are ways to bond with your dog?
I mean, it could be as easy as you just hanging out with them. You know what I'm saying? Like keep them on a leash and hang out with them on a bench at a park. That could be bonding. For me, my training sessions are bonding sessions. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
and after the session, I hang out with my dog. I take him on a walk. I communicate. At the end of the day, bonding is us creating clear communication with our dog.
Right.
When they understand what we're talking. If we don't want them to do something and they understand, to me that's good bonding time. you know
Mhm.
but that's how I do it. I training for me is bonding time, and
Right.
taking them on walks and just hanging out.
Right.
Since like now in the mornings, I let all my dogs out, I bring my chair out, I take in the sun, and I just let them run around. They come,
Yep.
each one at a time. They come by, I pet them, send him on his way. Another one comes by, I pet him, send him on his way, and pretty soon they're all laying next to me, we're just hanging out. That to me is bonding time.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So I'm gonna get on. I know I got a lot of it's inspiring trainers. I'm gonna get into some questions for them. Um, Video in your training sessions. Is it good? Is that a good idea to do that?
Yeah.
And how does this benefit the trainer and the client?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I always tell my trainers, I go, hey, video yourselves working with the dog, because the owner's gonna watch how you're communicating with the dog. You're gonna see little things, of how you release the dog from a downstay. We always release with a touch. I always walk back to the dog and I touch him. That means he can get off from his downstay. There's little things that you do that if the owner can watch, they could replicate it. Now for me, for for me with my dogs, I video my sessions because I want to see, sometimes the dog's not sitting all the way down. I'm going to lose points for that.
Right.
So if I don't have a spotter, if I don't have mirrors, then I need to video my session so I could see what I can improve on. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Gotcha.
do it. I'm not like religiously consistent with it, but definitely it is a good thing that to use. It's a good tool to use. You could definitely go back and watch and see what you could have done better,
Right.
for your next session.
Right. I'm gonna take a question for the audience. The UK is in the house. Damn, Kyle, this was a violent question. How does Oscar feel about training dogs to target and bite the face? I hear and see some folks in LA like to train dogs to target the face. Who that?
Man, I haven't seen too much. I haven't seen too much of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I haven't really. I don't think I've ever met somebody that teaches their dog to target the face. I think that a lot of dogs target the face, especially if pressure is coming from the face, the look. I have seen dogs pop off and bite, but I don't know who is actually teaching
yeah.
a dog to go bite the face.
Yeah, Cal, I think you talking about maybe somebody down south. We more like crazy like that. We old hog hunters and stuff down here. Yeah. Um, the duration. I want the duration and reading dogs. What are signs to end your session? How long do sessions usually on average?
I mean, usually my sessions per training session, they probably like vary from 3 to 3 to 7 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like those are my sessions, and I do a couple a day. I try not to keep it too long. And then, again, this is for like high level sport type work, like very high level obedience. Now, if I'm doing a training session with a pet dog, my training session is like real life session. Like if I need my dog to be okay with other dogs, he's having a little bit of a, you know, he's going off on dogs when they walk by, then I'm gonna work on that, and that those sessions will probably be a little bit longer, because I want to work with the dog and I want him to see the picture over and over and over and over again. So those things are a little different than like finishing sport, like sport work type. When it comes to sport work, I do 2 or 3 sessions a day. Sometimes, bro, my session could be me coming out, my dog activating, him barking at me, wanting me to pay him. I mark it. I say yes. I pay him his whole meal, and that's it. That's my training session. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's just that's how it goes. So it varies.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. I got Oscar for about another 15 minutes, so I'm gonna take questions from the audience. So y'all, I know some of y'all say I hog all the interviews on my own damn show. Here we go.
Nah, bro, you let me.
Okay. What information would he like to share about his training courses? You got
Yeah,
training courses?
man.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I started. I actually started a couple years ago. I started working on the Corso Coach just because I felt like, this is where I started, and so I was like, I want to give back. The truth is that a lot of the training you're gonna find in the Corso Coach, you could apply to any dog. But I just wanted to cater to the Cane Corso, and it's going to be a growing library. I'm actually, I'm going to be looking for a dog here pretty soon, a Corso. So as soon as that dog comes in, I'm going to make sure that I keep adding to this course, and you guys can find it on the corsocoach.com.
Oh, okay.
And then we have a Facebook group. So if you wanted to put your training sessions in there, and I could go over there, check them out, and give you some feedback, I could do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Um,
cool. Yeah.
so that's what I started. Other than that, I have I'm coming out with another course with Robert Cabral, and that's going to be more sport like stuff, and it's going to be basically how I start my dog to how I get to competition, and that one should be coming out in the next couple months.
Got you. Got you. Uh uh Jamal winging it. Okay. This is coming from Instagram. Will he ever compete with another Corso?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm gonna that's what I'm that's gonna be my next goal, man. I have a little splinter in me that I got to get out,
Right, right.
just because, with both my dogs that I titled my Corsos, I only got them to a level one in their sport. Mondio Ring was a very tough sport, but I had the first Cane Corso to get a Mondio Ring title, level one title, on a Corso in Mondio Ring. And then I had Benny for IGP, and I only got a one on him as well. So I got to make it happen.
Yeah, you gotta get some more. Uh
Yep.
Another one from winging it. What are some tips for a quicker down for article identification in the tracking phase of IGP?
I mean, I would say have a just separate just that part. You know what I'm saying? Like separate just that part into teaching that when he sees that article, he drops down, right? How do you do it? There's a bunch of different ways. You could put the article down first, obviously teach them how to down on it. Then what you could do next, you could put a little bit of opposition, meaning you pull up on the collar, you have food ready all the way at the floor, and as soon as you let go of that collar, you tell him to down. So he drops, meaning you're holding him up. He wants to down. He wants to down because he wants to get to the food that you have down there. And then soon as he gets there, you mark it. You pay him, pay him, pay him, pay him, pay him. Release them and do it all over again. Separate the actual indication from the tracking field. You know,
Gotcha.
that's what I would do.
Okay, thank you. Elite Cane Corso, how you doing? Do you like? I'm sorry. Damn, I need some more glasses. Do you
Do you
take?
take apprentices or need
I need
decoys?
decoys. Yeah.
Man, right now I have a full team right now, to be honest with you. So it's really tough, man. I hate it because, now I get hit up all the time and people want to come out and I just can't give them the time of day. And then people think that it's because I think I think I'm too good or something like that. And it's not even that. It's just, I don't have the time, you know?
Right, right. And let me ask you a little bit about your podcast for you guys that may not know, still under that rock. Elevated K9 podcast. It's
Yep.
pretty awesome, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank
Man, you
you.
got some. Hey, boy, you got some heavy interviews already under your belt.
Yeah, man. I mean, I try to bring everybody on, as even if they don't have a lot of years, I try to bring them on. But yeah, I mean, we started a couple years ago, me and my boy Roel, and
Yeah.
so yeah, and we got more coming. We got some good ones coming. I got Michael Ellis coming in January, so hopefully I do something with him. And
Okay, cool. Yeah, I
yeah,
did one with Michael Ellis. I got
that's
one with him.
cool, man. You see,
Yeah.
bro, you bigger than me, bro.
Shoot, man, I'm trying to catch up, man, to the
Nah,
big
bro, I need to
guy.
catch up to you.
But podcasting. So how has that journey been? How do you like it?
It's good, man. I like to sit down and hear people's stories and, hopefully add some value to the listeners. At the end of the day, I feel like that for me, I get to learn something and I get to add some value, and that's what it's about, bro. I don't make no money off of it.
Me neither. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all love for me.
Yeah, yeah. I don't make no money off of it neither, but ain't no nation like a donation. Y'all need to at least pay for my software.
At least. I know you're legit, bro. I'm not as legit as you are, bro.
Oh man, whatever, man. I
You
see
had
you.
me, you had me, you had me in the green room with the minute before it starts and everything, bro.
Man, I'm trying to get like you on them live, and I seen you all in the
Uh,
park and here, and I'm like, damn, look at this dude, man. Dude, okay, I got some more from the audience here. They coming in now. I use the I
yes,
use a
marker.
yes marker with all my dogs. Pups got it from Oscar Gracias.
Gracias. That means thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I started. It's crazy. Like, do you know Zeke at Documentary?
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
So, yeah, Zeke reached out. Back in, like, I don't know, it was like 2018, 2019. I don't know, when we did that first. It was called the Dog Training Fundamentals, man. And bro, I had Benny on there, and it just took off from there, man. It was crazy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those videos took off, and it was,
Oh
the
yeah.
rest was history.
Shoot, man. I tell you what, you had that one you was kind of teaching people the basics on come sit. It was with the
That's the
Corso.
one. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was all over that joint back in the day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
crazy, man.
yeah. Let me take this one here. Have you even trained Boerboels? And if so, what do you think is the major differences in dealing with the two breeds? I can read y'all. It's just StreamYard did something to make the words very small.
So, I have worked with Boerboels, and I have worked, with obviously a ton of Corsos, and I can say for my experience, the Boerboel is a lot more serious than the Cane Corso. And I know some people they're not gonna like that,
Yeah,
but they were very calm, very, but very serious dogs. I had one, man. He belonged to a famous baseball player. He actually just won, yeah, last night. This dog, I worked with him. I got him at like 8 months, man, or something like that. The dog had never even put a leash, bro. I put a leash on this Boerboel. He started jumping around, yelp, like crying. And this dude was like, bro, this dog is soft and this and that. He's like, I need you to take him, train him, and do protection with him. I was like, bro, let me just do obedience with him. I said, just
Yeah.
let me do obedience with him. I'll bring him back. I was like, and then we'll talk about protection later. Bro, this dog at 2 years old would break a glass trying to get to somebody that he didn't like. If you weren't from that household, he wanted to kill you. And he did catch a couple bites, and they ended up having to place this dog. They had to get rid of him because he was way too much dog. And it
Yeah.
was it was 0 to 100. He didn't give no crazy signs, and that's just, that's one of them. I've trained multiple that are very similar, and I just feel like they're a little bit more serious than the Cane Corso. That's just my opinion.
When they turn out, damn, I wonder if this my homeboy Roman Price Boerboels. You
Yeah.
got some crazy Boerboels over there.
But man, but these dogs, like, they look like calm, like
Yeah.
the ones that I worked with, they were super calm, especially as puppies, they were super social, and then all
Mhm.
of a sudden, like, they just hit this, this maturing stage where it's like it's a complete different dog.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see here. Ask the trainer. It asked Oscar Moore if he's familiar with the American Sentinel and what would his top 5 guardian protection dogs be.
Yeah, I mean, I've only worked one of Lee's dogs, Lee Robinson. I think that's
Yeah.
who came
Yeah.
up with that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had him on this week. Yeah.
Nice, man. Super
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've only worked one, so I can't really say that I have a lot of experience with them.
Right.
Um, and yeah, as far as like the top five guarding breeds, obviously, I think the Cane Corso. If you're talking about like a state, like, guard my house type deal, you know, um, I would say the Cane Corso, like, bro, I've gone to see some Tibetan Mastiffs that I wouldn't even want to get near. You know what I'm saying? Like, mean dogs. The Boerboels. That's for like guarding. If I wanted like a personal protection dog, I prefer, obviously the German Shepherd, the Malinois, that type of dog. If I wanted to do more of that type of stuff, but for like, to just have at my house, taking care of my home, those are the dogs I would go with.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, I'm about to wrap this up, but I want to see your thoughts on. Very interested in this question because uh, the thoughts on the role of social media in today's dog training world. Do you think it's a help, or do you think it's too much of a wide variety of
But you know
information?
what, man? I think that for certain personalities, I think is gonna be great, right? Like, if you just enjoy dog training and you want to get better, I think that all the information that's out there right now, I think you could learn a lot. Like, I've had clients now that I go see them and they've studied, and I'm like, holy shit, like, dude, you're like a trainer already. Like, like, why do you call me? Like, your dog looks great. You're doing great work, and these are just private owners, like regular owners. You know what I'm saying? I
Mhm.
think the problem happens with the people that fill their ego with social media, and all they're doing they're just doing the videos and stuff just for, just to get some notoriety, and that happens
Yeah.
very early now.
Ooh,
Before,
you
it's
ain't
like,
lying.
before you had to put in some work before you get anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Mhm.
didn't, I didn't start getting love from people until, I was already titling dogs. So,
Right.
and now you literally could, have one dog, own one dog, and then the next year you're already taking on clients, and you have a whole course on how to train your dog. Now, I don't knock you. I'm just, I'm not knocking your hustle, but I do see a lot of that, and they're preaching almost like as if everything they say is Bible. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't even
Yeah.
talk like that now. I go, hey,
Right.
this is how I
Yeah.
feel about it. This is my opinion. I'm still learning, but I feel like that's the downfall of social media. So if you're a young trainer, do social media. You know, you could track your progress, and you could show people your story. Of how you're progressing as a trainer, but just make sure you don't get to a point where everybody else is wrong and you're right just because you have a
Right.
social media channel. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And everybody, y'all got to be careful because I've seen guys that I know got taught by certain people from over the phone, and they got online protection dog courses, and they've
I
been
mean,
doing
that's
it.
just that's
Doing
just.
it.
But we see it all the time, man. I see
Yeah.
people. I see guys. They buy a suit. You know what I'm saying? They train with me for a couple sessions, and then they say that I mentored them. It's like, bro, come on.
Oh
You know what I'm
God.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it's cool, but come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, use your name in vain. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
man.
Man, well, Oscar, man, I sure do appreciate you coming and taking time with us. Tell everybody where to follow you, how to get in touch with you, and anything else
Yeah,
you want
man.
to let them know.
If you're in the LA area, you need some dog training, make sure you check out Elevated Canine Academy, elevatedcanine.com, Elevated Canine Academy on social media. And then for me, for my personal page, Oscar Mora Canines on Instagram, Oscar Mora Dogs. I have a subscription there. So if you wanted to subscribe and see a little bit more content of my training, you can. Obviously TikTok, Oscar Mora Dogs, I believe. I don't even know which one it is over there. But yeah, I have, Instagram, TikTok, uh, YouTube, Oscar Mora as well. I'm trying to grow my YouTube, man.
Yeah,
That's my next step.
yeah. Hey, shoot, if you ever get some times in the evening, I got time. I don't know what software you're using, but we could talk about it. We could do some simulcast and grow it real fast.
What is that? Oh
Uh,
yeah. Well,
I use StreamYard,
you're
and
gonna have to help me.
yeah. We'll be in touch, and we can do
And
some.
then yeah, and just one thing I want to plug, man. If anybody has a Corso out there, I do have the Corso Coach. Make sure you guys check it out. Like it's literally cheaper than what you would pay me for a private session. You know what I'm saying? And it's a bunch of different, it's a bunch of different content, and you get to join the group where myself and a couple of my trainers are in, where we get to help you out if you tap in.
Okay, most definitely. I'm going to be looking into that personally. All right, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hope to talk to you again.
Thank you, man. God bless, brother.
Likewise. See you later.
Take care.